Hi guys, Ryu here with Untitled for Blender, and today we're gonna do something cool. We're gonna actually model a game asset and we're gonna optimize it for exporting to, texturing and game engine, etc. So we're gonna model it and then we're gonna optimize it, which means we're gonna drop the geo to a minimum, possibly the most, optimized count. So let's go. Let's grab a cube and do something like this. Then let's apply a scale. Let's select an edge and choose a direction. Of course, my add-on is not working again. I'm using add-ons, by the way, because, tempo is fugitive, and also I'm not a cat. I have only one life, so we need to hurry with this. Let's chamfer this actually like this, and drop it on the other side. And let me see, let's actually grab this face and shift D it and P to its own selection, and then let's move it here and let's go to front view and let's inset it a little bit. Control I and delete that junk, so faces. And now we're going to extrude it, right? So extrude it inside and difference. Now let's talk about it. So let's move this a little bit in here and let's create something pretty cool. What I want to do is actually move this, where is it, this one, scale it a little bit to make it a bit more interesting. That's pretty cool. It's gonna make it look massive, which is nice. And I want to cut it inside. Okay, so I'm gonna grab actually, yeah, let's do it with a box cutter. So we're just gonna slice it in half and we're gonna copy this to the other side so the cutter is actually symmetrical. At the same time, let's drop a bevel in here, but not on this one, on the main structure, not sharpen, bevel. And the bevel, guys, I'm gonna go with one segment. Okay, so you see here on the bottom, it's on the one segment, right? We're gonna go with one segment because that's the best way to bevel stuff for gaming. The sharp edge is gonna split the edge anyway, so it's the same thing as basically applying a one segment bevel, and that's more optimal. So also makes edges look smooth. Let's actually apply weighted normals. So now what we got going on here, right, is a boolean bevel, and the bevel is one segment. That's important. And we got weighted normals, right? So that's all. All right, let's keep going. So now we got this going on, and let's see. We could cut another shape in this one, right? Let's go to front view and let's enable this snapping in box cutter. And you need to make sure you are in object mode, okay? Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Let's drop a cut in it. Now, if you cannot scroll to increase the number of verts, you need to go here to input and enable scroll adjust circle. In fact, I would suggest you enable both these as well at the same time. So let's grab it. In fact, this is not symmetrical, is it? Is this cutter symmetrical though? Let me see that. Let's bring the cutter back in. Let's actually copy this to the other side. Oh, it seems like it's not in the middle. Symmetry, that's why. Let me see that. Boom, there we go. Now we're talking. So let's grab this shape and let's cut it, shall we? So let's see here. Let's cut it like this. Now you don't want too many verts in this circle because, game asset. So I would say, I don't know, 22 maybe maximum, right? I would go with 20. Yeah, 22 is fine. Let's go with 22 and see what happens. It didn't cut it through. Let's do it again. There we go. That's better. Now this shading issue here is basically normals are flipped. If I go to Alt V and check it, there you go, flip normals. But I'm not worried about it at this stage, because at this stage I'm still concepting. So let's bring this cutter back and let's actually cut it from the side, shall we? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a box and I'm gonna do something like this, okay? That's not what I wanna cut. And one more time. I want to cut this one. That's what I want to cut. Okay, so let's try to do this again. That's more interesting. That's more interesting. Doesn't make any sense though. That's what I want to know. Now what we can do actually is recall this cutter again and recall this cutter, okay, and we can cut it deeper, so we can cut it like this. Boom. And that's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, and I like that one. So this could be like a lock, and this could be like a locking mechanism in this box, you see. Alright, perfect. So Shift 2 to remove the cutters, and we're peachy. Now we can copy this to the other side. So it's symmetrical and everything is nice. And I think we can commit to this one, so we should be fine. So let's actually commit to it. So let's apply the booleans. So smart apply, and now we can actually go ahead here and fix the face orientation. So Control and flip outside, and we should be peachy. Now we're peachy. So now, since this is a game asset, we're probably gonna be detaching this one. However, let me see how we're looking inside. So let me hide this one for a second. We're looking alright. We're looking alright. So we should be fine. Alright. Let's keep going, shall we? So okay, so now we're gonna cut some slice some stuff in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use actually a box, and not this one, a box, and cut something like this here, but we're gonna change it to view and do something like this, and let's bevel this, but not like that. I want to chamfer it, and this should do, but we're gonna actually extend these faces. So Control plus, well, that didn't work as intended, G, X, and move it outside here. There we go, that's what I want. Alright, so let's reposition this and actually resize it, because maybe it's a little bit too large. Let's move it a little bit to the top, somewhere here, and this should do. You know, we can actually add some interest in here by simply snapping a cursor here, not Shift D, that's not what I want to do. I wanted to snap a cursor there and grab this one and move it lower to open it up a little bit like that. That's pretty cool. Okay, so it's not actually completely straight. In fact, we could move it a little bit higher, not this one, the whole shape. Oh, come on. And then a little bit deeper, and then move this one actually lower like this. We're gonna lose this this angle here. You know what, actually I'm thinking maybe we could go like this. Doesn't make any sense. We could add some kind of like a hooks in here, you know. This could actually look pretty cool. Look pretty cool. Alright, let's think about it. Maybe this is actually a little bit too wide, so maybe we could make it narrower, and then mirror it to the other side, holding Shift, and Bob's your uncle. So that's peachy. Shift 2. How are we looking? We're looking good. We're looking good. So now we'll need some interest on the bottom, I mean on the lower part. So let's actually go to our beautiful new hard ups align tool, which is where was it again? Mesh tools, right? Here. I need to sign a shortcut, and let's actually shift and scroll down here, and maybe to this angle, and let's cut some, let's introduce some cuts in here like this, and press V for array, and maybe create 3 of them. Hold Shift. Now let's drag them in. That will do. So that's pretty cool, kind of like a ventilation or something. And we can actually copy to the other side. So there we go. And then what we need is some kind of like a bumper, or some kind of like a protection, shock absorber, whatnot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab this edge, and we're gonna actually Shift D it and move it in here because that's where I want it. Make it a little bit larger. And well, this thing is mirrored, right? So what we're gonna do is split it to its own selection. And then what we're gonna do is bring it to local because I want to work on this a little bit. So first of all, I don't need the mirror, right? Because for the time being, I want to split it. So forget the mirror. And what I want to do is actually bring them closer. And what I want to do is move them like this. And then we can, whoops, then we can mirror them. Oh, come on. We can mirror them like this. And then I'm gonna actually round these two up a little bit. So Control B and maybe 3 is fine. Might be too many though. And let's see. Let's go to operations and curve extract and see how it goes. 1 and S, and it should be good. Now let's make it a little bit larger. Okay, and let's move it outside on X like this, and maybe move it on X. Sorry, on Z, and this should do. So now let's see how we're looking. Let's grab this one and copy this to the other side like this. Come on, and across as well. There you go. How we're looking? We're looking pretty peachy. This is actually, I think, too thin. This should be a bit thicker. So let's make it a bit thicker, shall we? Yeah, something like this, you know. So it actually protects that cargo. Nice. So let's go to top view and let's actually grab a circle. And let's drill some holes in here. So let's grab something like this and, dig a hole in it. And in fact, we're gonna go T solidify, something like this. Now we can grab this middle part, so let's actually apply smart apply, and then let's grab this shape, Control L, P to its own selection. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring it out. We can remove this face. We will not need it. We will have to remove it anyway for optimization. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna select all these and flatten them up on Z and press F to remove this junk. And now let's see, we could introduce a small chamfer in here like that. And let's clean those verts because we got some junk in here. We can actually remove it right now. These are remnants of the modifier of the mirror, not faces, edges. There we go. This one needs to go, this and this. This is all junk. This one too, and this one. Okay, perfect. So now let's see. We can actually leave it like this and grab some decal in the middle, and we're gonna be peachy. So how are we looking? Well, we're looking pretty hot. Only 4.7 tris, which is not bad. And the moment we're looking pretty good. So we could actually drop some more drama in here. So let's see. Now these angles here, right? I mean, it doesn't catch because the bevel doesn't catch here because the angle is too flat. But what we could do is either run a bevel weight, or we simply could just extend it a little bit until it snaps. Boom. But you see, I don't know. Actually, it looks pretty cool. I think it's actually pretty cool. You know what? Let's keep it. I like it. Alright, so let me see. Now we need some kind of a, cool mechanism in here, right? I mean, there's gonna be a decal for sure. What we could do, we could actually make this a little bit smaller like this. So there's another light catching element in here. Okay, so let's remove this middle edge because we don't really, whoa. Let's select all of it and then just remove it from these edges here, because these edges actually support the structure of this shape, right? So we need them. These ones are actually supporting this middle cut, so we need them too. And everything else is fine. And we're gonna probably have to copy to the other side because via symmetry. So we could do something like this, symmetry, and come on, D symmetry, and symmetrize it to the other side. so we don't lose these supporting edges here and for the circle. And we're gonna get this edge in the middle, but we can easily remove it, right? But again, you gotta be careful what you're removing so you don't disturb the main shape, right? So now here in the middle, what we could do, we could grab this circle and, you know, insert it a little bit and extrude it inside. Do something like this, insert it and extrude it, and, you know, create something like this, which is pretty cool. Kind of like a canister, a cistern or something. Nice. All right, well, more or less we're done. We could introduce some cut or notch on the bottom just to introduce some more interest. So we could do something like this, for example. Let's use the snapping tool here. So our N-gon snaps to increments, and, you know, let's do something like this maybe, and simply mirror it to the other side, and, you know, that's gonna create some kind of a visual interest here. Now these ones are kind of pointless, so we need something in here, right? Now what we could do is create like some kind of like hooks or whatever, but in fact, you know, this might not be a bad idea. Or we could just create something a bit more different. So we're still low on the trees count. We're pretty good because we are with bevels, right? So we're pretty good. So we can actually push it a little bit further. So let's actually grab object view and let's do something like this here. Let's in fact, let's see, let's do it from the middle like this. So you hold control. Now how many faces do we need in here? Now I would say 18 is fine, probably, and then switch to J. So it's actually a boolean, join boolean. And what I want to do is actually I'm thinking about flattening it. So SZ0. Let's see how we're gonna look in. How we'll be looking like this. Now we're not looking too hot. Let's leave it like that. And we can create, you know, kind of like indentations like this, some kind of vents or whatnot. And to be honest, this is easy to manage because all we need to do is simply, you know, mirror it to both sides, and we're done. And that's our crate. And you know what? The rest of it's gonna be decals, okay? So probably gonna be using my own decals for this one. So let's see. Let's grab some decals here and see if we can do that with some interesting shapes. So we could grab, you know, something on the top like this, which is pretty perfect. And let's go to shaded view, and let's grab some material in it so we can see what we're doing. And this one as well, so we can actually copy it. So select this one and copy the matte. This one a bit too shiny. I don't like shiny metal like this. I hate chrome. I think it looks cheap. I like stuff that's less shiny. I like matte because that shit's elegant. Chrome is just garbage. Chrome is garbage. So that needs to be metallic for sure. There we go. So anyway, where were we? The decal, right? So let's slap it on and see how we're looking. This should do. So project, boom, done. And the same here. We could just drop something. Maybe some, you know, like this or whatnot. Smaller ones. And project it, and then I'm going to simply copy this to both sides and something at the front. So another one, this will do. These are, by the way, I think that's a free pack, so you can get it on my Gumroad store. That's a free decal pack, so if you want to play with decals and have some fun, I think it's free. I'm not quite sure. Actually, I can check. Yeah, there you go. That's a free product, so you can get it and have some fun with it. Anyway, so let's grab it and project it, and simply copy to the other side. Now the bevel you want to make, you want to leave it kind of big, because it just looks better. Depends on the engine, but usually the larger bevel looks better. We got 7.1K tris, which is not terrible, but we could still optimize it. For example, oh, we don't have this. Well, we need to change it to a geo, right? It's gonna jump up probably. Do not close these. Okay, that's unnecessary. You don't have to close these. Let's see here. All these decals gonna be baked into an atlas map, so we don't have to worry about it. We could use something on the side, you know, some kind of decals in here on the side. So we could use some crates or some kind of vents. Maybe this would do something like this here. Something in the front too, maybe some kind of like, you know, some kind of bolts that would hold this whole structure. What we could do, right, we could simply select this shape and bring cursor to the middle here. And then literally what we could do is we could array this with hard ops, right? So, but you know, that's the easy way of doing it. You could Shift D and rotate it, but not on the individual region, but around the cursor. So Shift D and R, hold Control, snap it somewhere here, and then Shift D R and just snap them in here, and then select all of them and literally copy them across here and across here, holding Shift, yeah, and you're done. And that just adds a little bit more of a, you know, a bit more of an interest here, which is pretty cool. And I think, you know, that could be it. That could be it. That could be it. This one is a little bit maybe dark. Maybe we can make it a little bit brighter, but not so metallic. Oh, that's pretty cool actually. Something like this maybe. That's pretty cool. Maybe a little bit darker, just a teensy-weensy bit darker. There we go. Select, you can double click on the decals to select them all and simply reapply. Boom, done. And that would be it, guys. Of course we could play with colors, etc., but what we could do, for example, right, we could actually split this. So what we could do is go to box cutter, select that, and go grab box and literally slash it, right, which would create an interesting piece. So we could you know, copy these two and apply all the modifiers. So select both and smart apply. So now you're gonna have this combined shaped. It's pretty cool, and you know, you could have some fun with it. For example, you could add some notches in here, just to, you know, just to break it visually, okay? And it's pretty cool, you see. Come on. There you go. Something like this. How does it look? Yeah, it looks pretty alright actually. We could also grab this and cut some notches in this one now. Boom. Right. And copy to the other side. And copy it across. So copy this across to the other side. And Bob's your uncle. And also to the other side on the left, so it's mirrored on both sides. So it's kind of like an interest, you know, like a visual anchor. The same thing we could do on the top. We could just cut it on the top like this. See if it's gonna make any sense. Well, shift it to view, and maybe we can slice it like this. There you go. Looks pretty cool. It's a delicate delicate accent, but you know, they just break light. It's all about breaking light, okay? And I think we're pretty good. I think we're pretty good. Could do the same thing on the side, really. Just break it here. There you go. That's simple, guys. It's that simple. Well, that will do, guys. That's actually a very simple game asset. And now, you know, let's apply all the modifiers, right? So let's apply all the modifiers. So apply modifiers, right? Not this one, sorry. Smart apply, this one I want to do. And let's actually hide the decals, right? So Shift 2. And let's just talk about the shape, yeah? So let's go back to our object view, so we're not blinded by the materials. And now we need to talk about it. First of all, right? You don't need the back faces. So, you know, like this stuff, this could just go, okay? So literally you can remove it, right? Now, because you can't see it as a player, okay? This one is fine, but we don't need this middle edge. We do, however, need these two, actually these three, because they support the circle, right? The shape of the circle, but we don't need these ones. Boom, we can delete them, okay? So, wow, as I said, we need these. Did I keep them? Wait a minute, what's going on in here? Oh, right. This whole shape needs to be kept as well, so we'll delete these ones. Perfect. So now we're good. What else we don't need in here? We are good in here, I think. I think we are good in here. Okay, perfect. Now let's keep walking around this shape, shall we? Now I see, well, we do kind of need this one, unfortunately. We could also use some cuts in for these elements, but to be honest, it's not necessary. Maybe we could actually do this from the top on, you know what I mean? So it's gonna look a little bit better. So let's grab a circle, but there's gonna be really have to be, you know, something small, like maybe 14. Okay, not this one. I want to cut this one. So somewhere here, and you know, just dig through and go up a little bit. But you can do this with alphas as well, you know. It doesn't have to be actually a cut. So you could save a little bit on geo if you did it with an alpha, but it can be a cut. So let's now copy this to both sides, and it just, you know, adds a little bit of drama. At the bottom it's not necessary because you're not gonna be able to see this, right? So let's grab this shape. Now these ones, right? Whoops. These ones, right? We need to talk about these. So let's hide this face. First of all, this face, this one needs to go, right? The line in the middle, okay? And then we got all these unnecessary lines which we can remove, because you need to remove everything that you don't need. We don't need this, okay? Also, I don't know what these hard edges are doing in here, so unmark them. We don't need any hard edges in this shape, okay? Let's hide this with H. Now see here, these are floaters, right? So, I mean, they kind of connected, but not really. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select this whole shape, right? In fact, you know, it's gonna be easy. I can't be bothered with remirroring this whole thing, so I'm just gonna select all of them. Okay, and then P to its own selection. And let's just grab them to local. We can remove all these faces, okay? We don't need them, so boom. Because that's just gonna take UV space and it's junk. So let's check this one if it's, you know, everything is fine. No, it isn't. We need to remove this. And the same with this line here. I think we don't need this one. This whole line needs to go, except for these ones, right? So, and this one too, and this one, and the rest can go. There you go. And this one, same story. Oh, it's already removed. Perfect. And how we're looking, 7,300. That's not good, not bad, especially with bevels, because remember we have bevels going on. And you see now, if I actually increase the count of bevels, right, to 3, so I went actually with the bevel and went to 3, watch what happens to the count of geo. Went from 7 to 10. So this whole mesh, it could be either 12 or 7. See my point? So that's how you bevel. You bevel it with one segment, and then you literally drop weighted normals, and you're done. That's all you need to do. This face is needed. Let's see inside, okay? I think we're fine. Again, we don't need this line in the middle, I think. Possibly could remove it. Well, this one is needed because it supports the cuts, so that's fine. And I think that would be an optimized shape for... this is not UV'd yet, but in my opinion, this is pretty well optimized for UVing. Now, of course, what you need to do, right, is to select everything, M, new collection, final bevels baked, and let's go here, okay? So this is our, let's copy this, okay? So Shift D and move it to collection, right? So we got the main collection and we got this one with baked bevels, okay? So what we're gonna do now is we actually convert visual geometry to mesh, which means we bake all the bevels, right? And before we do that, let's unhide this face here. There we go. So now visual geometry to mesh, and now we have all the bevels baked, you see. So you could either export it with bevels or without bevels. It's really up to whoever's going to be texturing it. Some people just bake bevels with on top of the base mesh, and others export with bevels. It doesn't really matter. But total count is 7.2 thousand, which is pretty good in my opinion. And it looks pretty dope. With decals, you know, it's gonna look amazing, right? Once we bake these, and we're gonna export them as an alpha map separately once the UVs are actually done. So anyway, guys, that's all for this video. Hope you learned something interesting. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you need Hardop's box cutter bundle, there is a link in the description. If you go and buy through that link, you're gonna help the channel as well. I'm also leaving links to machine tools, to Decal machine and mesh machine. So these are also amazing add-ons. I use them all the time. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.